Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Linda. I'm Linda. You know, I love a good conversation, so let's have one. Today we have a special episode. You all know I've been on a break, but I had to come back because this is something special that I wanted to share with you, my chit chatters. I have Pastor Terrell Monger, and you know, he's no stranger to us. He's been on conversations before, but he's come to share about an upcoming event. So, chit chatters, welcome to Conversations with Linda, Pastor Terrell Monger. Welcome, Pastor.
I am so excited to be here, as always.
Listen, you know, you were one of our favorites when you came on last season.
Thank you.
And so we're glad to have you. I came off of break, off of hiatus to share with you about your upcoming event.
I feel special.
Okay, all right. So things have been going well?
Things have been going absolutely well. My wife and I had an opportunity to get away. We went to somewhere I've never been before. We went to Cabo for 4 days. And we had a wonderful time. We came back refreshed and renewed.
Wow.
And I finished up my book while I was there, and I'm excited about it.
Okay, okay. I got to hear about all of that.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about an event that you're having May 28th.
Yep.
And it's called You and Me,
Yep.
The Chemistry Project.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
Right.
Tell us about it. It's a conference. Tell us
It's
about
a conference, and it started from a conversation. Actually, started from a conversation last time I was on your show.
Really?
And my wife and I started talking about some things, and we started talking about chemistry.
Okay.
And most people mistake chemistry for just good sex.
Oh, right.
That's why a lot of people end up manipulated. That's why a lot of people end up with people that they can't let go of, but we got good chemistry. But chemistry is not good sex. That's a chemical reaction.
Absolutely. Y'all hear that? Okay. That's a chemical reaction because actually you're releasing oxytocin.
That's right.
I know a little bit.
There you go. See? And so, and with that, chemistry is intentionally taking certain elements to produce an intentional result. So it's not chemistry until you know what you're trying to create.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's slow this down. Chemistry
is taking certain elements.
Okay.
To produce an intended result.
So you need to know what you're trying to produce. You need to know the results that you're looking for.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And so you know if it goes with your chemistry project, if it helps you to create what you're trying to create. And that's what the Bible says. Where there is no vision, we perish. That means if I don't know what I'm trying to create, how can I possibly create it?
Thus, you're calling it the chemistry project.
That's right.
Because you're saying relationships should be looked at as a project.
That's right.
In intentionality for a desired outcome.
Right. Yeah. And because even if you don't intentionally put the elements together, the elements are going to come together.
True.
What is created is based on your ability to have a part in it or just letting it happen. That's why explosions happens in the lab because you get the wrong elements together.
I love that.
And you blow up.
Explosions happen because you get the wrong elements together.
That's right.
Could produce something dangerous.
That's right.
Wow, that's good. I really like that. And so you believe in intentionality where relationships are concerned. I have this saying, and I didn't come up with it. I'm sure I heard it somewhere down through the years. You either live your life by design or default.
That's right.
So relationships work the same way.
That's absolutely right. Because if you were going to look for a house, you don't just pick the first 4 sale signs and say, hey, this is it. All right, guys, let's move in.
Gotcha.
How many kids do you have? How many rooms do you need? Do you like to cook? What size kitchen do you want? So now you can have an educated search for a house. Do you care more about a house than you do about your life? So you have to have an educated thought about what you want your life to look like. Then you can pick who belongs in it. Okay, this person is unstable. If I want a stable life, do I really want this unstable person, even though they give me a temporary good feeling? So now I don't just use my heart, I use my logic along with it in hopes to get closer to the life I'm trying to create.
I got you. Now, I know you all got some questions about, well, what about this chemistry thing?
Yeah.
And I want to save that. Just
Okay.
y'all just hold on, because we're going to get there, because I got a lot of people saying, but they could have, a good job. They could be a nice person, but there's no chemistry between us. So, but hold that answer.
I got you.
I know you said that you came up with this kind of being on our show, but where is there a burden for this? What are you seeing out there with couples that's making you say, you know what, I got to tackle this?
I just can't leave him alone. I don't know what it is. I can't leave him alone. But they're not looking at the factors that happen without their permission.
Oh.
Some things happen in their life. Like, for instance, how we won't get into it right now, but some of the things we call chemistry are based on preferences that were set up without our permission.
Unpack that for me.
Okay. Let's say I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
I was a good guy, a little nerdy guy.
Yeah, I remember you telling us that on the last show.
Just a good little guy. Messed around, got a hold of a South Memphis woman that changed my entire life. And so when we broke up, it broke my heart.
Okay.
And I wanted that thing back.
Okay.
She was far more experienced than me.
Gotcha.
She was free to do whatever my little mind could handle.
Yeah.
But I didn't look at the fact that this type of woman also broke my heart. She was also dishonest.
Okay.
She was also not a good person.
Okay.
So I wanted a good feeling from somebody that wasn't a good person.
Oh. Okay.
And so now, no longer am I looking for the good person that I intentionally wanted. I'm in search for that good feeling that I had.
Yeah.
So now I've set up a preference, and if this person doesn't give me the good feeling that bad person gave me, I say we don't have chemistry. What I'm saying is you don't meet the preferences that were set up without my permission.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're looking for the high.
Right.
They used to call that chasing the dragon.
That's right.
You're looking for that high.
Right.
So you'll bypass everything else just to get that high again.
I'm gonna give you another example.
Okay.
The food we grew up on hadn't been good for us.
True.
But we want to live a healthy lifestyle, but we still want the food to taste like that.
Yeah.
We want the food that gives us the body and the life we want to taste like the food that made us have this body we don't want.
Okay, I gotta get to some things, but I'm trying to hold them because I'm gonna ask you. You just put this in your back pocket,
okay?
Because if I have an acquired taste, I just have an acquired taste. But I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the conference. It's the conference for married, single, everybody. Who is the conference for?
I started it out just for single people.
Okay.
But as I started to get into it, dating people, married people, people who've been through divorce need to think about where they are.
Right.
And then think about where they want to be so they can put the right instructions in their GPS.
Yeah, because I think married folk could use this too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, sometimes in marriage, they're still chasing the chemical reaction.
Yeah. And look, I said something in the book that marriage cannot fix a dating problem. But dating can fix a marriage problem.
I love that. Did y'all hear that? I love that. You are so full of nuggets. Marriage cannot fix a dating problem.
Yeah.
But dating can fix a marriage problem.
There you go. And I broke down what dating really is. It is not just what restaurant are we going to? It's phases to it. First, it's the courting. Courting is I like you, and I'm trying to show you why you should like me. That's what courting is.
Okay.
Like when a college is recruiting or courting a basketball player, our college wants you. Now let's show you why you should want us.
Okay.
And then the dating phase is I'm learning your conversation, your limitations, your thoughts. The dating phase should be less about the food we're eating and more about the person we're talking to. Do you fit my future?
Wow.
You're forming languages, how to talk, what their desires are. If you don't do that right, you're messing up the dating phase.
Now, when is the book coming out?
It's June 20th, my birthday, June
20th. And the name of the book is
You Plus Me, Finding Chemistry in Relationships.
Okay, because I'm going to have you come. And you've got to come and do this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So I want to make sure I come back to the conference, because the conference is when?
The conference is May 28th.
May 28th.
At 4 p.m. And if you want to know more about it, the website is thechemproject.com. TheChemProject. Thechemproject.com.
Okay.
So the address, 4741 Winchester, May 28th. It's a Saturday, 4 p.m.
Great. And that's why I came out of my vacation, my break, because I wanted to make sure that we aired this before the conference so that we can get people to, because this is going to be really good.
I haven't even told you the half, but yes.
Oh, my goodness. And you've got some other speakers.
Yes, I have some other speakers coming in, and it's a very good surprise at the end. I can't say it, but Pastor Ricky Floyd and Pastor Sheila Floyd, they'll be coming through. I actually met them before I got married. I was watching TV late at night, and I saw them on TV talking about marriage. And I said, when I do get married, I want some of that.
Really?
And so we started talking over the years, so I was glad to have them a part of it so we can talk about that thing that sparked in me the type of marriage I wanted before I got it. So.
Yeah, I've witnessed them, not about marriage, but in ministry, and they're phenomenal people. But I do know that they have a great reputation for dealing with marriage and relationship. So that's awesome. Pastor Ricky and Pastor Sheila Floyd will be a part of this as well. So I got a little time before I go to commercial break. So I just got to go on and just kind of dive on in here. So when you talk about good chemistry, let's go back into that. Good chemistry is what we should be after, not a chemical reaction.
Right.
Just talk more about that.
And the reason I reference it as a chemistry project is science does not judge you, people do.
Okay. Science just deals with the facts.
Science just deals with the fact. And if you get it wrong in science, science says take what you learn and try again.
Okay.
But people make you feel like something is wrong with you.
All right.
And so that makes your self-esteem drop. And you stop thinking about what you want and start trying to be something that somebody else wants because you don't want to be alone.
Okay.
When really you need to say, if something doesn't work, it doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong with me. It doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong with them.
Agree.
It just didn't work.
But I don't know why we fall victim to that. I say, if it doesn't fit, don't force it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we do tend to alter ourselves because we're thinking. And do you agree that also comes out of a sense of hopelessness? That if I let you go, then I may not find anybody else. So I gotta just go ahead and alter myself and do what I have to, because there's only one person in the world for me.
Yeah.
Do you think that comes from there?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I talk about in the book. When you start thinking like, what happens if that person goes? You first need to think about what happens if they stay. Is them staying with me still making me a jealous person?
Wow.
Is it still making me an unhappy person?
Yeah.
Is it still making me feel ways where I have to check your phone or check your car or hide in the trunk and try to catch you doing something? So if I'm not the type of person that I want to be, I got to question if I need to be with this person instead of just trying to hold on to them. So that's what chemistry is. Do I have the results that I want? If I don't have the results that I want, maybe they're the wrong element for me. I'm the wrong element for them. And I have to trust science and say, these elements don't work.
Wow.
And if I want to create something, something has to change.
Right. And I think that we can ask ourselves, am I the right person for them?
Absolutely.
Because I could feel they're
Right.
the right person for me,
Right.
but I really may not be the right person for them. And it's okay.
It's okay.
They have just as much right.
Right.
Because I tend to, now I'm just saying, this is just what I see.
Yeah.
I see a lot of women feeling like and saying, well, he ought to want me. Why doesn't he want me? I'm this. But he has a right to say you're not the one for him.
Yeah.
And we're imbalanced in that way. I have to say that about us as women.
And what's unfair, men do it and women do it. What's unfair is, if I know that's your tendency, how about I act like I don't really want you, because this is going to make you want me more.
Mm-hmm.
And so now
playing games.
Exactly.
Playing games.
And that's what we mess up with, this chemistry game. And then what puts some people in the catbird seat in the game is because their experiences, they know how to create a good chemical reaction called sex, and they control you with it.
Okay, I'm gonna wait after commercial.
Okay, yeah,
I want to go there with you. I want to go there. But you said something about, we question, what if they leave? But the major question is, what if they stay?
Yeah, what is that?
What is life
does this create?
Yeah.
Does it create a big house with a new car and I'm miserable? What life do I want? So I can take the elements to create, and see, the elements are not always just another person. Sometimes it might be the things that person like to do. They're still going to the strip club. That's making them unable to connect with you. They watch pornography. That makes them unable to connect with you. They hang out with their boys or their girls all the time. That makes it difficult for them to connect with me. So now they're bringing all these elements home to you, but all you see is them. But all these other elements are messing up the project you're trying to create.
Right. And making yourself miserable.
That's right.
I mean, we sign up for misery.
Yeah.
Knowing it ahead of time. I'm just being honest with you. That's why I tend to not care for like doing premarital counseling anymore.
Yeah.
Just because it's hard once they have signed up.
Right.
To get people to acknowledge, and even if they acknowledge, get them to make a decision according to, as you call it, the science.
That's right.
To say, you know what, this is not for me.
That's right.
Because all of these things that I'm trying to work on, compromise, is going to make me miserable.
It is. And I've actually done marital counseling, and it's been 3 occasions. One of them listened to me, 2 didn't. But the 2 that didn't listen, one of them actually left my church because they thought, I wasn't giving them the best advice. And then a year later, they were divorced. I'm not saying that's the reason.
Right.
But if you come to marriage counseling, I'll tell anybody, if you come to marriage counseling, don't always expect that we're just going to get married. Come to get information to equip you for marriage.
But if you got the dress and the invitations ready and you've picked out the venue, the colors.
Yeah, and I seen people spend $50,000 on a wedding that lasts 50 days.
Absolutely. I have to. And hopefully, prayerfully, this kind of conference, this particular conference, you and me, the chemistry project will equip singles, those that are dating, with what they need, the tools they need in a group setting, not where they can judge it themselves and make up their own minds. Because sometimes in premarital counseling, I think the microscope is so strong that they spend all their time trying to prove that they're right for each other.
And my goal is, because I love to have fun. At this conference, number one, you're going to have fun. You're going to have to think. And then you're going to be presented with some options. Okay, because a lot of people mess up because they think they don't have options.
Okay.
Oh, we've already invested this much time, or we've already done this or that. So I'm providing options. The option is not always to leave.
Right.
Sometimes the option is go ahead and be honest. You're already
Yeah.
unhappy.
Yeah.
So now be honest.
And work from there.
And your honesty may turn your whole situation around.
That's so true. That's
Yeah.
so.
And people are afraid, well, what if I say this? Well, you're unhappy already.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose?
And the other person usually knows. I mean, it's like the elephant in the room.
Right.
Everybody knows it's there. You know, we're just not saying it. You know, don't want to hear the words.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I know you're enjoying this. I always enjoy Pastor Terrell Monger. I witnessed him sharing with our singles ministry years ago, and never forgot the impact that he made in our congregation. And he's doing a new thing with this conference, You and Me, the Chemistry Project, May 28th. May 28th at 4 p.m. So I'm going to take a commercial break, allow you to get some popcorn, and I'll be right back. What's wrong, Chloe?
Well, Dr. Linda, it's getting there summertime, and I won't be able to see any of my friends for a long time.
I understand, but I got the thing just for you, Chloe. It's called Girl Boss. June 27th to July 1st, I'll be offering a camp to make you a girl boss.
Oh, tell me more.
Listen, we're going to have all kinds of classes, beginning with you having a dream, power to dream for girls just like you. And then we're going to have classes on sisterly love and self-love. We're going to teach you charm and etiquette. We're going to have a paint party. And then guess what? We're going to have a pool party at my house.
Oh, this is getting good.
I'm telling you, it is going to be fabulous, girl. I want you to tell your mom to go to LindaWillisEmpowers.org to get you registered. Now, the cost of it is $150, but that covers everything, food and all the activities. Don't forget, tell your mom, LindaWillisEmpowers.org. And guess what? You can invite your friends too. You know, your friends outside of New Life. Just tell them to go to LindaWillisEmpowers.org. Now, Chloe, they got to hurry up and register because space is limited. All right, girl.
Okay, well, I can't wait for this.
And guess what? I can't wait to make you a girl boss. Welcome back to Conversations with Linda. I am having a fascinating conversation with Pastor Terrell Monger, who is having a conference May 28th. And the title of the conference is You and Me, the Chemistry Project. And so, Pastor Monger, I just want you to go back into this whole chemistry piece. What is good chemistry?
Okay. Good chemistry is a decided intentional goal and two lab partners dedicated to getting there.
Okay.
So it's a journey. It's not a destination.
Okay.
It's like me and my wife, our dream is to get a big house with a back porch that leads up to a lake with rocking porches.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
That we want to be old and sitting there and we've enjoyed life and we can have time to talk about it. That's our end goal.
That's the end goal. Okay.
So everything we do, we try to not get in the way of the end goal. You know, we're going to have some fun along the way. We're saving money. We're making sure we have plenty of stuff to talk about before we get there. Just all of that. So we have an end goal in mind. So every day is a part of that chemistry project. Nothing we feel about each other gets in the way of the end goal we want for each other. And so even in the conference, I can't tell it, but basically I'm going to show a video clip that's going to show young love, mature love, and forever love. And my goal is to normalize being in love again. Not just these small feelings that come with being in love, but being in love.
Okay. So young love, mature love, and forever love. I love that. I love that. So I've been saving a question that I know my audience is, because I know what they ask me all the time. I know what they, they whisper to me. So when you talk about chemistry, we are used to talking about chemistry as it relates to that good feeling that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Usually good sex.
Yeah.
All right. Starts with just a good feeling of attraction.
Yeah.
And leads to good sex,
That's
hopefully.
Right. That's right.
And so I have, people who are saying, while we are talking about, everybody started talking about, especially in church, we were saying, make sure you check the credit report and make sure they come from a decent family and make sure, they work and all that. And the question now is, but what about what they call chemistry? I want to be attracted to the person, and I want the sex to be good.
Absolutely.
And so what are we saying here?
Yeah, and the sex will be better than you ever imagined if you pay attention to all the chemical reactions along the way.
Okay.
All right.
Unpack that, because they want to know this.
There's some chemical reactions along the way, starting with this thing that we call infatuation or love. It's a chemical reaction. It's dopamine and adrenaline.
Absolutely.
So that's not chemistry.
Dopamine is your feel-good hormone. Remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dopamine for the brain, adrenaline for the heart.
Right.
So something in your brain and something in your heart talks to each other, and you call it infatuation.
Okay.
So that happens.
But what about the two people that meet? They got the good jobs. They're Christians. They make the money, but there's no dopamine and adrenaline. But society says this, or family says, this is a good man. Now, or this is a good woman.
That usually happens
Okay.
when there was a previous dopamine rush and you didn't clean out your test tubes from the last chemistry project.
Okay. Let me tell you, he is really doing the science here. Okay.
You didn't clean out the chemicals from your last interaction.
So I'm looking for that same oxytocin, same feeling.
So the same
dopamine, all of that.
The dopamine that has you right now could have come from the Harlequin romance novels that you read. It could come from the soap operas you watch.
Okay.
It could come from the stories you told with your girlfriends.
Okay.
And so you put an image in your head of what a relationship should be without looking for the end you want because of the relationship.
Okay. But what if I'm
gonna
being
pull
my
it together
audience.
in just a
I'm
minute.
being my
Okay,
audience.
gotcha.
But what if you meet the person? Shouldn't there be some physical attraction?
Absolutely. And then this I'm going to get back to the dopamine and the adrenaline.
Okay.
I'm not saying you shouldn't feel that.
Okay.
You should.
All right.
Okay. At your healthiest point, you should. So before I get to the cleaning out the test tubes. And
I'm coming back to the cleaning out.
So when the dopamine and adrenaline come, usually it leads to the sexual interaction.
Right.
All right. And so just as you started talking about, the oxytocin that's released becomes the bonding element. It's the bonding agent that makes you want to be together.
Right.
Okay. And that oxytocin, actually, the initial reaction of the oxytocin with the man, it makes him shy away from women that he would find attractive because he's attracted to you initially.
Okay, wait a minute. Slow that down.
Okay. So let's say I have received this bonding agent with you. A test was done in California, University of California. I received this oxytocin, this bonding agent from you. I will shy away from other women that I think are attractive because I don't want to lose the attraction with you.
The oxytocin there.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what that's initially. But what happens when you've been with the same person over a period of time, vasopressin comes in.
Okay.
Vasopressin mixed with oxytocin drops your dopamine.
So tell me about vasopressin. That's a new one on me.
Vasopressin, it is a stabilizing chemical. So that means what we call I'm used to them now. That's vasopressin.
Oh, okay.
When vasopressin mixed with oxytocin, your not adrenaline, your noradrenaline and your dopamine drops.
Okay.
And so that's what makes it seem like I want the dopamine again. Maybe that person will give it to me. Maybe that person will give it to me. Because it is feeling boring to you. Now the adrenaline in the heart is still there. I still love you. I'm just not as excited about you.
Oh, are y'all getting this? Are y'all learning something? Okay, because we are human beings, right?
Right. And this happens.
Chemically made up.
It's going on. But see what happens, what rescues that is hopefully during your adrenaline phase and dopamine phase that we call infatuation, you've learned each other's stimulations. Because when the dopamine drops, the stimulation keeps the excitement.
Yeah.
And see, we think stimulation is just my shirt off.
Yeah.
Sometimes stimulation is me playing with the kids. Sometimes stimulation is me stopping by the house and giving you some gummy bears on the way home.
Yeah.
And so
emptying the trash.
Yeah. If I don't know your stimulations, it can make your excitement sexually about me drop. And I'm thinking you don't like me and you're not as excited about me. And you don't know how to say, no, fool, stimulate me.
Because my vasopressin has now met with my oxytocin and dropped my dopamine.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. And
this is a science lesson.
It is a science lesson. And I promise you the conference is not going to be this deep, but you have to know this because with men, the testosterone takes the place of the dopamine.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why most men level is higher, because especially if a woman's estrogen level is a little low, it can even make it sex painful.
Right.
It can even, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so you think she acting funny, but no, you have to learn your lab partner and find out the things that bring about stimulation.
Yeah.
So you guys can continue to work on the project together without doing your own little separate projects.
And speaking of that, this is so important. And I love to mix the spirituality with the science, you know, and even, you know, with the mental health part of it. But here's the piece, because then you have, as you get older and men start to decrease and decline in testosterone.
Come on.
Right? And she is not losing estrogen as fast as he's losing testosterone. Then we got another chemical imbalance going on.
And here's a conversation I had with men. They'll say, well, Pastor, I mean, if I'm married to her and she's the only person I get sex from, she should always be ready for me. I said, you're asking her mind to do something her biology is not set up to do. And so what if she told you, every time I need you to go more than 10 minutes. And you're not biologically capable.
I guess y'all heard that.
You know what I mean? How would you feel as a man if she say, why is it always over after 7 minutes?
But we just don't know all of this stuff. Ignorance.
But your biology can make you go 7, 10, 15, 30 minutes, an hour if you let your lab partner help you out. But you have to be just as patient with your lab partner as you want your lab partner to be patient with you, because it is a group project. It's not an individual project.
And so, you know, you've got to come back, because we are getting ready for our next season. And one of the episodes we're going to do is keeping the she and me alive. And I've got someone that's coming in to do that, but I don't have anybody to do keeping the he in me alive. So I got to have you back for that. Okay. So just get ready, because we're going to have you back. But this is so good. And don't you just wish now that you had taken biology more seriously? You know, when you were
and we don't talk about
that. Like me, when you were writing notes in class and wasn't paying attention in biology class. But this is so important because it really does contribute to a lasting, fulfilling relationship.
And for anybody that's listening, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. And this is what everybody understands. My wife and I, we got to a point where the passion in our relationship just wasn't there. And we almost ended in divorce because we couldn't understand. We thought we didn't have chemistry and all of that. But now I got a revelation that there were some things I needed to change about me. She got a revelation of some things that need to be changed about her. And so I did what I did, not for me, not for her. I did it as unto God.
Yeah.
And God gave me a revelation about my wife that I was making her feel insecure because I've been with all these South Memphis women. And so mentally, she was trying to live up to something where I was making her feel uncomfortable. And she felt like when we were together, she wasn't with me. She was trying to outdo all the women in my head. So that wasn't making our bond as tight as it was. But once I started appreciating her as a woman and complimenting her as a woman and getting on her rhythm, our passion now is greater than I ever dreamed it would be.
But how did you get past your ego to hear that? Because most guys, when they're talking, it's usually about, I've been this and been that and been with this. So she's got to come up. That's what they say.
Yeah.
How did you get past your ego? The male ego. I'm not just talking about your ego, but the male ego.
God is omniscient. He's greater than science. And if you submit to him, he's God of all science, all things. And he'll show you some things about yourself. There is no way for you to get past your ego without getting in his will. I had to do that first. God had to show me.
Yeah.
And so the situation between us is I had to care about her as an individual. I had to say to myself, you know what? If our sex life never get right, this is my wife. I'm not going anywhere. This is going to be beautiful. And when I did that, something in her clicked. And so now we're not living off. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. We decided we weren't going to have sex till we got married. Well, we didn't make it. Okay. And it was her, not me. I was really trying to wait. It was her.
Okay. And so, even after you had the South Memphis, and you were able to do that, because that's the other thing.
I had made a commitment to God. We had already, we were already engaged and all that. We were going to get married, all of that. But so when sex came to play, I was like, oh, if she thinks she loved me at first, she got to love me now. Yeah. And so I went in there with my ego. And so when it wasn't what we thought it would be, I was like, well, something must be wrong with you because ain't nothing wrong with me. Hey, I'm good. And so I wasn't connecting with her. I was connecting with what I remembered sex to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so with her being as sensitive as she was, she could sense that it wasn't about her.
Wait a minute. We got to just take a break on that because I got to go back into that.
Okay.
Listen, this is such a great conversation. I know you're enjoying it. We're talking about a lot of things that are being talked about in our one-on-one situations and with friends and around, dinner tables and coffee tables and all of that. So stay right here. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Conversations with Linda. I am having a interesting, fascinating conversation with Pastor Terrell Monger. If you missed the last part of this conversation, you may need to rewind and come back up because we went to a place where you were being transparent and sharing that you and your wife were engaged. You all had decided you would not have sex before marriage.
Right.
And
we didn't make it.
Right. You didn't make it, and it was her fault. I loved it. But you said, these are my words. You didn't say this, but you thought y'all were gonna meet up, bump boots, and rock her world.
That's right.
And it didn't go quite that way.
It didn't go quite that way. Her biological makeup was different than any woman I've ever seen, and it probably was one of the things that made her so. My wife has never made me feel jealous. She has never made another man seem remotely more important to me. Something about her makeup was everything I need to give me the confidence that I needed.
Wow.
So I had never been with a woman that made me feel that secure.
Okay.
She was sensitive to the person she was with.
Yeah.
And since she had that level of sensitivity, she could see that what I was doing wasn't about her, it was about me.
Because your orientation had been with you said the South
South
Memphis.
Memphis women. Hey, I don't mean to do South Memphis like that, but they gifted. They blessed by the Lord. No, I'm just playing.
And so there was this comparison.
Yeah.
That was going on.
Right.
That she could sense.
That she could sense that I wasn't being as sensitive to her as she was to me. Now, she didn't know how to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like she criticized it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she said something. But I'm like, you supposed to be acting different. You supposed to be acting different. And so as we started to talk, I started to understand that I had to be a different person. But I didn't know how to be a different person because my preferences were already set up.
Wow.
All the chemicals from my past were still in my test tube.
So now you do know, I believe that's why God did not intend for sex to come before marriage.
I put it in the book.
Because when sex is not before marriage, you don't have anybody else to compare to.
Exactly.
But once you get, a few under your tool belt, you've got a whole, you've got some people that you go, oh no, he did it this way, right, and she did it that way, and yada yada yada.
See?
So we shouldn't, but it is what it is.
Right.
How, because you mentioned earlier, you got to clean out your dopamine.
That's right.
How do we do that?
Well, what I had to do personally, and everybody's not the same, so I just said what I had to do personally, I had to really do an inventory. Have I ever been with a woman that made me feel so secure? No. Have I ever been with a woman that I trusted so much that didn't make me feel jealous at all, or question, or no? So what makes me think those experiences were good for me just because they felt good?
Okay.
So I had to do a refresh and say, now that I know what exists and what a good feeling can be, what are the elements needed to create it with this person?
So that's mature love.
Yeah,
you said there's young love, mature love, forever love. That's mature love. Yeah. When you realize that it wasn't all about that.
Exactly.
Do you think there's a particular age that we get to that place? Will a 27, 28-year-old guy get there?
Well, and that's my hope, because for me, new information can change any situation.
Gotcha.
This wasn't information I had. This was a revelation from God. And that's why I feel obligated to share this information with other people in hopes. Because just think about it. When Moses went up into the mountain, he came down with the 10 Commandments. What he came down with was a revelation of what separated him from God. When he said, put no other God before me, it's because he put Pharaoh above God. Gotcha. So he wrote it down.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill. That's what he did with the Egyptian. Yeah. So he wrote it down. So he said, I'm trying to tell y'all all the things that made me run from God. So thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness. He's saying this is not about heaven and hell. This is to keep you on your path. And so I feel like with me, I ain't go up in no mountain, but I came down with some revelation. This is what hurt me. So I'm trying to tell people, no matter how young you are, how old you are, you have to actively participate in the life you want, and don't expect some woman to just give it to you because you fine or because you got gifts. You have to know what you want and get the right things together to create what you want. You got to have a dependable, trusted lab partner, and y'all create your own experiment without borrowing stuff from some people that ain't in the room.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Listen, if you're just tuning in, I have Pastor Terrell Monger here, and this is all about a conference that is coming up May 28th. It's called You and Me, The Chemistry Project. And so he's got, not just himself, but other speakers that are coming. I understand Pastor Ricky Floyd and Pastor Sheila Floyd are coming, and this is going to be a phenomenal conference about relationships. And if you're just listening to the things he's saying now, you've got to feel like, oh yeah, I got to go to the conference. I got to hear it. And he has a book coming out under the same title, in June 20th.
June 20th.
Wow, can't wait till all of this comes out. You're saying all this. You got this great revelation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this has to come from revelation, because who else gives us this information?
Right.
I mean, our parents don't sit down and tell us all of these things.
Right.
So, you know, is it, I mean, you're a pastor. Is it the church's responsibility? Whose responsibility is it to tell, share, teach this kind of stuff?
It's our responsibility. And I'm very comfortable being a pastor, even if the type of pastor I am is different than a lot of other people. And the reason why is, the minute I start talking about doing this conference, I've even had some people at my church, well, why are you talking about sex?
Yeah.
Listen, because you having it.
I love it. I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
So I'm like, the same way when I started going to the gym and I started getting in shape, and it brightened up my mind and it made me more healthy. The same way I started telling y'all, hey guys, start walking, doing some exercise. I got a revelation that I decided to give you. The revelation about this, me and my wife hit the hardest place you can hit in a marriage. We were one court date away from divorce.
Wow.
God revitalized it and made it better than I ever dreamed it would be.
Wow.
And a big part of their reward is a phenomenal sex life. And if we can come back from that place, I just want to give you some breadcrumbs.
Look, and listen, so everybody can be happy. We won't have so many depressed, bitter people in the seats.
Absolutely.
In the
Need deliverance every week. But what you need is a chemistry project.
So I got to ask you this. This is totally off script, but how comfortable is your wife with you talking about all of this? About
she's
you
fine
hitting
now.
the wall and all that.
As far as it's hitting the wall, she understands.
Okay.
And she really believes, she's with me, that it should be a blessing to other people, because there's so many people headed toward divorce, or sleeping in separate rooms, or staying for the kids.
That's so true.
We believe that it's kind of like one of those things the Bible said, oh, taste and see. Guys, it can be better. Taste and see for yourself. Guys, you don't have to struggle with this. Taste and see for yourself. So she's comfortable with the whole conversation, and she's so comfortable, we can laugh about it now.
Good. I think that's so important, because this is somewhat revolutionary. I think oftentimes women are more comfortable talking about sex and relationships and all that publicly than men are. Sometimes we laugh, because I'm talking to my husband about, well, we were talking about this, and he was like, y'all were. I'm like, well, what were y'all talking about? We talk about real life stuff. Y'all talking about the game and, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's so revolutionary and needful that our men, young men in particular, can hear and get the right information, get correct information, because what they hear on the street is not always the correct thing, most of the time not.
And one of the things I talk about is, it was the first sign of compassion that God showed me. He looked down at man working, producing results, and said, oh, it's not good for man to be alone. And he said, let me make him a helper suitable for him. That means I'm going to mix some elements in here that's going to make her. God performed a chemistry project right in front of him. Let me put some stuff in here. Sugar and spice and everything nice.
I like that.
But check this out. If she's suitable for him to do what? That means you're supposed to be doing something together. And a lot of people get stuck, and the woman is supposed to submit to what?
Right.
She can't follow a parked car. Why do you need her help? If you don't need her help in something, you're wasting her time.
That's so true. So true. So true. So I don't want to give the conference away. I don't know if my background folk this made me I don't want to get a conference away, But we have to talk about the comment you made that
Mm.
sex, passion, and intimacy
Mm.
are not the same. So without giving it all away to my chit chatters, can you just give us a little bit?
Okay.
Sex, passion, and intimacy are not the same.
Yeah, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking sex is just fulfilling your need. You're supposed to give it to me when I need it. I need this woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's just sex.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bonding. It's not connecting. It's not appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I call it leaning into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lean into each other, it's not just sexual.
Right.
When you're having a bad day, maybe she just want to hug and watch
Right.
TV.
Right.
You lean into each other. Now that leaning into you can result
Sure.
in sex, but that's not what it is. She's not there just to meet that need.
Right.
And then passion
Uh-huh.
is something where, you know, it can be this explosive
Mm-hmm.
thing, but it always have to take in consideration, is the other person enjoying it as much as you?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lab partner. It's
Yeah.
a group project.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but then when you pass all of that,
Mm-hmm.
you get to what we really call love making.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
it's where it fulfills both of us.
Yeah.
It brightens our mind.
Sure.
We both are creating something
Absolutely.
that we both are going to carry as memories when we leave.
Yeah.
It's not just a moment we leave here. You can get
That's
passion
good. That's good.
after the club,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Right.
when you make love, that means you're carrying a thought that you can't wait to get back to. It's a space that you create that only belongs to you. You're not begging it be in that space.
Right.
They need that space as much as you. When the world has disappointed you, when life has let you down, at least you know you got this space that you created
Yeah.
together.
And I believe it's spiritual.
It is.
I believe at
Absolutely
the apex of it,
is.
it is spiritual.
Absolutely.
There is a serenity, a peace.
Yeah.
There is a connection to someone's essence.
Yes.
Without any pretense.
That's right.
You know, when it talks about, you know, and Adam knew Eve, there's
Yeah.
a knowing,
Yeah.
there's a spiritual knowing
Yeah.
at when, like you said, when you move past it just being an act and just being about passion.
Yeah. And what the Spirit of the Lord is, there's
Freedom.
freedom.
Absolutely. I love it. So y'all see, you should be wanting to have the spiritual experience
That's right.
of love making. All right. And so in order to do that, you learning all of this that you're talking about,
Right.
because you have broken this down,
Right.
you know, to the lowest common denominator of looking at it from a scientific
That's right.
perspective
Yeah.
and all that goes into that. I think it's so phenomenal. And so you're doing this conference.
Mhm.
Give us the date again.
It's May 28th at 4 p.m., 4741 Winchester. And I'm not going to share much about it, but there are some things that we do unintentionally that draw the wrong people into our life.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
huge on that.
Yeah. And so what we have to do is never just seek to fix your relationship.
Mhm.
Fix your life.
Right.
And then that way, if the relationship works or not, you draw the right type of person into your
Yeah.
life. But if you go around talking bad about your exes, what
Mhm.
you're doing is letting the world know you don't make good decisions.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
whatever they were, you chose to be with them.
Yes.
You drew and allowed that in your life.
I am a big proponent of the thought that you attract what you radiate.
Yes.
And you don't know that you're radiating it. You think you're radiating one thing,
That's right.
and you're not, because you're doing it from a subconscious place.
Absolutely.
And I teach and preach that when you go through a divorce, I mean, it happens. When you go through a divorce, you need to not even date.
Yeah.
I think if you can't go any longer, at least the first year, you need that much time to figure out what brought this into your life, how it was invited into your life, right? How it gained access. and what you contributed.
Yeah.
You know, people leave divorce thinking they did this and they
Yeah.
didn't do this and they should have done more of this
Yeah.
without thinking, how did I get here?
Yeah.
What was I looking for?
That's right.
You know, that attracted this person to me. And then what did I contribute in the chemistry of this relationship
Absolutely.
for this negative outcome?
Right.
And you can't do that if you run into somebody else's arms. You will never look at
That's right.
yourself because
Right.
you will medicate, if you will.
That's right.
Whatever those deficiencies are, whatever that, you'll medicate it with somebody else.
Right. And even in saying that, if it's a divorce, if it's a fair relationship, if it's a bad relationship, the last thing you want to do is go find people to agree with what's not working for you.
Yeah.
And I would say, if it's a, like I say, fair marriage, fair relationship, or problem in your relationship, go fast. That's how you clean your equipment before your next experiment.
Go fast.
When I got divorced when I was early 30s, I was like 32 years old. And I don't know, I thank God for this. I fasted 40 days.
Wow.
I threw away all my music.
Wow.
I'm not asking anybody to do this, but I was
but
dedicated to being a better person. I've heard people talk about how bad their life was and how bad their ex was. And I didn't want to be that complaining person. So I did what David did, creating me a clean heart.
Yeah.
Renew a right spirit in me. Like if I never get married again, whatever happens, God, fix me.
Yeah.
Because if nobody else is going to be with me, I got to be with me. I want to be a better person. And you have to be dedicated to that more than paying somebody back for you thinking they hurt you.
Right. And being able to not make new relationship decisions with the residue from the old, you know. So yeah, I
one
agree.
thing that I point out is we're always moving to the next experiment in relationship. The chemistry project is never done. We're always moving to the next experiment. So you can't do what you need to do to make your spouse respond sexually to you. What are you doing when you don't feel like sex? What are you doing when you don't need anything? You know, you're always involved in the experiment to bring the right elements into your relationship.
So conference May 28th, 4 p.m. You and Me, The Chemistry Project by Pastor Terrell Monger. And he's got great speakers coming. I'm telling you, it is going to be awesome. And they can purchase tickets.
TheChemProject.com. TheChem Project. PROJECT.com.
Okay. And then you got a book coming out June 20th.
June 20th.
Under the same name.
Same name. It's so good. I want to tell it all, but
I can't wait. I'm going to read it. I promise you, I'm going to be one of those that reads it. And I'm going to have you at New Life because I just love the way you're able to, in a I like it because it's a fussy way.
Right.
Because I can tend to be fussy. But it's a non-fussy way to talk about these things that are so real in our everyday lives. And I think that if we get this right, so much of the other stuff will fall into place.
It affect your job. You know how many people can't even work their job because their relationship bad?
Yeah.
Don't even want to spend time with their kids because their relationship bad.
Absolutely.
Fix this part, you can fix your whole life.
Fix your whole life. That's it. You can fix your whole life if you fix your relationships. Well, Pastor Terrell Monger, it has been a joy as always to share with you. I really do want you to come back and do Keeping the He in Me alive, helping our men know what they need to do to keep thriving in this area of their lives. Tune in every Sunday evening, you all, at 7 p.m. right here at Conversations with Linda. I'm back. Pastor Terrell Monger brought me out of vacation, but it was a worthy cause, and I'm looking forward to the great things that will come out of this conference and his upcoming book. All right, you all have a blessed week. I'm out of time, but never out of conversation. I'll see you soon. God bless.